Here we go. Back again. Back again. Alright. And today is Friday. So yeah, it is the Friday Fix. And this is the 34th episode of The Fix. So quite a few now. And thank you to everyone who watches and engages. And as always, we will cover some stories from throughout the week. But mainly today, we will touch on lockdown. And more importantly, the effects of lockdown. And I can tell you right now, and we have touched on it in the past, but the consequences of these lockdowns are fucking horrific. I kid you not. Right? It is absolutely fucking devastating. Right? And we will touch on a few bits today in regards to that. But I must warn you, it is fucking heartbreaking stuff. Right? And we did say months ago now, way back even, at the fucking start, that this would be the case, right? It is devastating stuff. And I don't even have to pick up a paper, which I never do, or even go online to look at the news to see what's really happening in terms of lockdown effects, because I am seeing it here before me in my own little town of Elgin, and it's heartbreaking stuff. So to get into it, the Daily Express 3 hours ago fears lockdown could be extended by months. Right, because it's never ending, and we have been in a form of lockdown in the UK since lockdown fucking started. The scum 10 hours ago, UK lockdown. Britain won't be back to normal until summer. Right, sure, don't hold your fucking breath. 9 hours ago, Coventry Live. Secret hairdressers caught running during lockdown. Right, so of course, the lockdowns have forced criminal activities like hairdressers and salons underground, right? When I used to think of underground activities, I would probably think of something like Fight Club, but not today. Not in 2021. And the Argus 3 hours ago, 2 arrests at Eastbourne Gym found breaking lockdown rules for third time. So yeah, good on this gym owner who has clearly said no 3 times. But like the hairdressers, gyms will now have to go underground. 10 hours ago, Mancunian Matters, the mental health epidemic behind the COVID-19 pandemic. Right. Yeah, it's not the lockdown then, it's COVID. Sure. 4 hours ago, St. Helens Star. It's time to talk about lockdown 3 and the January from hell. Right, and January is a bad enough month as it is fucking before all the lockdowns. But now it's fucking hell for many people. BBC 15 hours ago. Playgrounds and skate parks closed by councils in lockdown. And it's not just adults. Kids have been affected big time. 1 in 4 young people feeling unable to cope as lockdown takes toll on mental health. Crisis has taken devastating toll on teenagers and young adults, and many are losing hope for the future. Even young people cannot see a fucking future thanks to lockdown. Not COVID, not anything else. The fucking lockdown. That's what's done it. And that's from the 19th of January in the Telegraph. One day ago, nature.com, COVID's mental health toll. And this is how scientists are tracking the effects of lockdown. And by the looks of it, it is fucking staggering. Isolation and fear of infection are two factors contributing to a rise in anxiety and depression amid the pandemic. Right, so anxiety and depression have skyrocketed. And again, I know that from just looking outside and through people that I know. I see it with my own fucking eyes. And this article here, it touched on, would you believe it, 9/11. Ain't that a coincidence? Major events that have shaken societies, such as the 9/11 terrorist attack in New York, have left some people with psychological distress for years. A study of more than 36,000 New York residents and rescue workers revealed that more than 14 years after the attack, 14% still had post-traumatic stress disorder. 14 fucking years after. Would you believe that? And yes, the 9/11 attacks, we will go with that. The psychological effect on the world is absolutely fucking crazy. And still today, I would say, we are feeling it. And of course, the restrictions that they brought in and the wars that they then carried out still go on. Right? The Telegraph, 2 hours ago, anxiety levels during first COVID lockdown were highest since 2011. And again, anxiety is through the fucking roof. And in 2011, it was bad then, seemingly, because of the financial crash of 2008. And people got really fucking anxious. 5 days ago, Blackpool, honestly, it just gets fucking worse. Blackpool Gazette, mother fears lockdown effects as 5-year-old's mental health suffers. A fucking 5-year-old kid. Now, this is where it gets really fucking heartbreaking. The end feels so far away, and my son's mental health is really suffering. I worry constantly about the long-term effects, because there fucking will be. And this poor kid, he will not be alone, right? He will be a drop in the ocean, unfortunately. And his poor mother, she is now also at risk in terms of physical and mental health with constant worrying. And that will make her fucking ill, unfortunately. Charlotte said, that's not her name, it's a pseudonym, and same with Jake. But Charlotte said the pandemic has also made Jake terrified of going near other people. Recently, even refusing to touch his grandmother despite the family forming a support bubble with her. And yeah, this is where we're fucking at. Kids now, terrified to even touch their own fucking grandparents, feared for their life because of COVID, and now isolated, unwilling to even touch people that they love. This is where we're at. And yeah, it still gets worse. ITV 1 week ago, increase in suicide-related calls at half of England's ambulance services, right? And if this is the case, then the actual suicide rate will be the same. It will be through the fucking roof. It has been called a second pandemic. More like the fucking, well, not the only, but a real one, that's for sure. With charities across the UK warning of a growing mental health crisis since the first COVID restrictions began. So since the COVID restrictions have begun, people's mental health has deteriorated big time. And I know this, again, through my own experience. And I would know without any doubt that I am not alone in seeing this with my own fucking eyes. And again, it gets worse. In London, one of the most heartbreaking calls of all came from the family of a football-mad 12-year-old. A fucking 12-year-old took his own life, right? After spending an evening cooking with his mum earlier this month, he took his own life without warning. His family believe they'll never know if the restrictions around COVID contributed to his death. Right, but I would say that it did. This young lad, a 12-year-old, who loved nothing more than going and watching football, similar to myself, left fucking heartbroken, devastated, and basically not seeing a fucking future. A 12-year-old boy. Again, this is where we're at. Now, like we have said in the past, these are real pandemics. The suicides, they are not stopping. And I'm afraid to say, it's only gonna get fucking worse. Unless they put an end to these outrageous restrictions. You know, in Scotland, it used to rain all the fucking time. And basically, it still does. But there's a new kind of rain now. And it's fucking tyranny. And it ain't fucking stopping no time soon. Right? We really need to make a stand. Young lads like this boy, we cannot let his death be in vain. Right? We really, really, really need to start making a fucking stand. And if you support these lockdowns in any way, shape or form, then you really do need to give yourself a fucking slap. Big time. Right? They are devastating. And to continue with it, Yahoo News 4 days ago, Las Vegas schools push to reopen after spike in student suicides. And yeah, it's not just in the UK. It is right across the fucking world. It's massive. I shit you not. The Metro 1 day ago, student hanged himself in dorm because of COVID lockdown loneliness. A student with his whole fucking life ahead of him gone because of fucking lockdown. Right? These people, politicians who have implemented these guidelines and restrictions, they belong in the fucking jail. And some. Right, and to touch on isolation and its effects on people, Hockley points to evidence linking perceived social isolation with adverse health consequences, including depression, poor sleep quality, impaired executive function, accelerated cognitive decline, poor cardiovascular function, and impaired immunity at every stage of life. Right, and these effects can happen to people in any amount of time. You could spend a week in isolation and suffer some of the above, or longer. There is no set time or time limit on these effects taking hold. And of course, with us being locked up in our fucking jail cells since the start, but again, for the third time here in the UK, people are now becoming institutionalised straight up. What does becoming institutionalised mean? If someone becomes institutionalised, they gradually become less able to think and act independently because of having lived for a long time under the rules of an institution. Right, like prison or lockdown. Straight up. And to expand on it more, what are the signs of being institutionalised? I wonder. Rather, they described institutionalisation as a biopsychosocial state brought on by incarceration and characterised by anxiety. Now, ain't that a massive surprise? Also, depression, hypervigilance, and a disabling combination of social withdrawal and or aggression. Straight up. Now, to expand on this even more, if we look at what does it mean when a person is institutionalized, right, what's it all about? Used to describe a person who has been living in an institution like prison or lockdown for a very long time and is no longer able to live an independent life in the outside world. Right, so you can no longer do or act like you did before you was incarcerated or put into lockdown. 3 days ago, The Independent, thousands of BAME doctors do not feel safe at work. Right. 3 weeks ago, People Management magazine, majority of UK employees feel unsafe in their workplace, study finds. And again, 2 weeks ago, The Guardian, my office is COVID secure, but I don't feel safe. Now, I wonder why that is. Maybe because people are now institutionalised, right? Straight up. And we will leave lockdown for the time being, but we will touch on it again, that is for sure. But now I want to touch on this guy, Dr. Peter, right? He is leading the A-team, the team of experts that the WHO has sent to China to establish the origins of COVID, right? Did it come from the bat soup or was it escaped from a lab, right? Now, speaking of the lab, way back in August 2020, this dude, Peter Daszak, told us that it was heinous to even mention the possibility that it came from a lab. He basically said it was shocking to say such, and others like him would say that it was a conspiracy theory, and YouTube would not let you talk of the possibility. It wouldn't even let you ask the question if it escaped from a lab. But fast forward to today, 2 days ago, WHO team in Wuhan does not rule out coronavirus could have escaped from a lab. Wow. So it looks like not so heinous after all, Peter. So anything Peter tells you, don't buy it. If you ask me, like I said, he is, without a doubt, a Rockefeller agent. This guy, Peter, he should not be on this A-team that has been sent to China. But he is, because he is meant to be. Now, we will touch on Peter again, possibly tomorrow or Sunday, and we will also touch on the new strains. It's like whack-a-mole now with the strains. They are popping up everywhere. But this is the plan. It will never end. If you didn't know, it ain't going away. Right, so look out for this. It will be tomorrow or Sunday, right? And we will touch on the WHO as well. But sticking with the fix, and in terms of other news this week, I seen this one 3 days ago. A mineral that keeps showing up on Mars has been found deep in the Antarctic ice. So it's Science Daily, so it must be true. Forbes, 15 hours ago, 10 space pictures that look so good you won't believe they're real. And that reminded me of Elon while discussing the car that he sent into space. I wonder where that car is now. Probably somewhere in America still, right? But he said that you knew it was real because it looked so fake. Sure, thank you, Elon. We are not worthy, right? And again, space related. Sky and Telescope, 8 hours ago. Second Earth Trojan asteroid discovered. Dun, dun, dun. So again, with the asteroids, this one clearly ain't going away. And one thing that probably will be going away is cash. Straight up. EDP, 20 hours ago. Will Norfolk Bank closures lead to cashless society? Yep, you better fucking believe it. It is coming. That is for sure. And months ago, way back, I said in a video that they were changing the layout of the world around us. And in my own town here in Elgin, they were putting up barriers here, there, and fucking everywhere. For no reason, basically. It made no sense. But it was for social distancing because COVID, right? And it was temporary at the time. But now, it's fucking permanent. And look out for this one because it's the future. I shit you not. Going by the Rockefeller resilient cities plan, the smart resilient cities. You can look forward to gated communities and gated streets with checkpoints, and you can show them your vaccine passport or they taser you and beat you up, right? Look out for it. And speaking of smart, right? Sure, sequencing your DNA with a USB dongle and open source code. Right, so they're saying it's not quite there yet, but it's coming with breakthroughs in genome sequencing. Right? How fitting. And speaking again of smart, Elon, our hero, sure, back in the news. Neuralink could be testing human brain implants this year. Right, so this is the Neuralink or the neural lace that will turn humans into androids. How exciting, right? What a wonderful world we live in. Right, sure, why not? But that is about it for this week's Friday Fix. And it's tough going discussing the lockdown, suicides. It can be very hard because I, even just at the end of last year, lost a friend to suicide and others, unfortunately, in the past. And I know that I'm not alone, and many subscribers of mine have lost family and friends through suicide, and it is devastating on families. They can be destroyed by it, and it's heartbreaking stuff. And all I can really say is that if you do suffer, then please seek help, right? No matter what you do, first, at least try to seek help and speak to someone. If not someone close, then anyone, right? And get through it. And hey, tomorrow is a new day, right? Have hope and fight on because we're still here and we ain't done yet. And I was wanting to fit the vaccine into this video, but it's too much. It's quite a lot to cover, and emotionally, it's a lot. And I watched the legend himself, Dr. Vernon Coleman. What a hero. Now, I don't think possibly ever I have cried watching a video. Not that I can recall. And I usually laugh at my wife who cries at certain TV programs, right? And I don't know really, I don't know really why I find it funny, because it's not. But the other day when I watched that video, I was very, very close to shedding a tear, because at the end of the video, the doctor himself broke down when it all basically dawned upon him at the mass. What should I say? The mass extinction that is upon us right now. Humans, animals, insects, plant life, you name it. Right, but Vernon only touching on the vaccines, which at the moment is really a small drop in terms of the attacks that are upon humanity today. And when you think of it all, it is really overwhelming. And I can see why even a grown man can break down at the thought of what is happening at the moment, right? But try not take everything in at one time, if that makes sense. We cannot change everything in the world overnight. But what we can do is try our best to change things that are in our control locally, and even things personally about ourselves, even possibly how we act. Right? We really need to try. And yeah, I think I will leave it there for today. But I will be back on Sunday or Monday. And as always, thank you to everyone who watches and engages with the channel. You really are a fantastic bunch. And thanks to the subscribers who have been there throughout, and to the new subscribers who have joined. Feel free to interact and engage at your pleasure. Right? And yeah, I will catch you on Sunday. And also on Sunday, before I forget, we will have the third instalment of The Last Jacobite. So look out for that, or you could watch it live on their Facebook page at 8 p.m. and then I put it on here about, well, when it's finished. So about 9 or 10 o'clock on Sunday night, it will be on this channel. So thank you to everyone at The Last Jacobite, and I look forward to Sunday's show, right? And yeah, like I did say, I will be back Sunday or Monday, and it will mainly be a vaccine and new strain update, right? So there is a lot to cover, and yeah, it is crazy, straight up. Anyway, that is about it. Bye bye.